couple that hasn't brushed their teeth in years might actually be onto a genius scheme. Every time you read the news, it seems like there's some new diet fad everyone suddenly swears by. One day everyone tells you to avoid gluten, but the next day it's carbohydrates you have to cut out. We all know without a doubt foods high in sugars and saturated fats are unhealthy, but some people take their diets to bizarre extremes. Tina Stoklosa wanted to live a healthier life, but every diet she attempted seemed to end in failure. However, she eventually discovered a rather unconventional way of life and along the way fell in love with a man who also adopted the unusual lifestyle. They may be happy, but many people think they're totally crazy. Simon Bone and Tina Stoklosa fell in love almost immediately after meeting through a social media group page. The two shared many of the same views on life, but one of the biggest attractions between the two was something Tina brought to the table. Long before Tina and Simon began their relationship, she lived a comfortable life in her hometown of Warsaw, Poland. However, she just never felt fully complete. Even though she had a great group of friends and a successful career as an interior design architect, something just wasn't right. Outwardly, she was doing fine, but inwardly, she sought a life change. Much of her unhappiness was due to her physique. She felt overweight, which led to problems with self-esteem and feeling physically uncomfortable much of the time. Every diet she tried failed, until finally she found something that clicked. While doing extensive research on fruit smoothies, Tina met a woman with a very bizarre diet. She ate fruit and nothing else. Intrigued by this unconventional lifestyle, Tina dug deeper, and what she found amazed her. The woman she met was part of a community of thousands of fruit-only eaters known as Fruitarians. There were social media groups all over the world to help people into the lifestyle. Tina was skeptical, but she was willing to find out more. Tina was amazed to see the people who followed the diet so strictly were sprightly and looked full of life. Many of them kept active on a daily basis, which is what she craved. So she gave Fruitarianism a try for 1 week to see what happened. Almost instantly, Tina felt an increase in her physical and mental well-being. Suddenly, the excess weight she carried for so long began to fall off, and she felt like a whole new positive life perspective completely took over. She was now sold, but there was one big problem. Grocery stores in Poland, like much of the rest of the world, didn't exactly cater to a strict fruitarian lifestyle. If this was something she intended on following, she needed to make a big change. So she quit her job, packed her bags, and moved to Bali. However, just because she now lived the island life didn't mean she wanted to completely sever ties to the Western world. So she joined several online groups and created an Instagram account so others could follow her. That's how she met Simon Bone. Simon lived in Belgium, and he differed than Tina in that he never had the same struggle with his weight. Instead, he simply wanted to get his body to absolute peak perfection. He lived a vegan lifestyle, but he craved more. As a marathon runner, Simon always watched videos of his athletic idols online. During one of his internet searches, he came across a marathon runner named Michael Arnstein, who also happened to be a fruitarian. Simon was fascinated by how the marathon runner loaded up on nothing but fruit before massive races, and always performed well. Simon gave Fruitarianism a try and instantly made it his lifestyle. He found what he was looking for without a doubt. Soon, Simon was neck deep in the online Fruitarian community. He stumbled across Tina's profile one day and started a friendly conversation. It turned into a 6-month back and forth until finally he flew out to Bali to meet her. Their connection was immediately apparent. Not only did both fully embrace the fruitarian lifestyle, but they wanted to travel the world and try as many exotic fruits as possible. Love was clearly in the air, so Simon made a huge decision. He followed his heart and stayed in Bali with Tina. He felt the two were so much better as a team, and they started an Instagram account to document their new exciting life together. It was a life they claimed had invaluable benefits. For one, they felt much closer connection to nature. They believed their mission was to taste every fruit Mother Nature had to offer. They also believed, although there's no solid research to back up the claims, the fruitarian lifestyle cured diseases naturally. Oddly, they also swore they didn't need to brush their teeth anymore. Both Tina and Simon said the high level of fiber in their diets ensured healthy teeth and gums. Tina even went to a dentist to confirm her mouth was in tip-top shape after years without a checkup. On March 30th, 2019, Tina and Simon excitedly welcomed their first child, Leo, into the world. But controversy soon followed. Many people disagreed with their decision to raise the child on an all-fruit diet, but the new parents ignored the hate, swearing by their fruit-filled lifestyle. As amazing as Tina and Simon claim their life became after turning to fruitarianism, it certainly isn't a diet most people could sustain. However, at least the fruit is fresh and from the earth. But fresh isn't always better, which was a fact this woman learned while looking for a lifestyle change after growing frustrated with the regimen structured on traditional life. She made a change that brought on another bizarre diet. Renee Scott's job as yoga and dance instructor allowed her to escape a desk job, but she craved more. Renee wondered why we have to sacrifice enjoying life. She longed to climb mountains, gulp fresh air, and travel at a moment's notice. So back in 2015, she decided to make a major lifestyle change to suit her restless spirit. Packing her Honda with essentials, she left her house behind and moved into her car for good. Tiny living suited Renee. She traveled across several states, earning an income teaching yoga and a variety of dance classes, like hip-hop. Students would get their workout in non-traditional spaces for a fraction of the cost. Early on in her new unburdened lifestyle, Renee met some like-minded individuals. These fellow nonconformists told her about a new kind of outdoor activity that saved money and benefited the planet: dumpster diving. The idea of digging in the trash for food turned some people's stomachs. Not Renee, though. In fact, she was curious. She explained, "I've never been a germaphobe, and I highly value resourcefulness, so it was easy for them to convert me." Rather than the slippery and slimy contents you'd imagine in the dumpster, Renee quickly discovered quite the opposite. Stores and restaurants toss perfectly good, packaged, and fresh foods just to make room for the new inventory. With each dive, Renee was feasting like a queen. On every trip, she'd rip open garbage bags full of high-quality, expensive food that she never would buy grocery shopping. It was all perfectly preserved, but headed to the landfill. The impact on her wallet was instantaneous. Opting to dive several times a week rather than making the regular few stops at the store reduced her bills significantly. In fact, she saved between $150 and $200 a month. With that extra cash, Renee and her husband, Yov, have been able to spend their money the way they please, traveling in their upgraded tiny home van. So far, they've visited 10 states from South Dakota to Texas and dipped in every dumpster along the way, too. What started as a fun hobby quickly turned into a moral obligation. Seeing the overwhelming waste people discarded day after day, Renee couldn't get it out of her mind. Instead of donating or discounting food deemed unsellable, stores just let it collect in bins. Renee wanted to destigmatize what shouldn't be shameful: eating perfectly good food. It's made me more aware of waste, as well as our society's misconceptions about food safety, and how wasteful these misconceptions encourage many people to be. Plunging into the dumpster isn't for everyone, and Renee and Yov still go to the store to satisfy those hankerings that trash can't fulfill. But on Instagram, the open-minded couple shares funny yet impactful images of their dive experiences in an attempt to rouse the curiosity of others to give it a try. Getting started as a thrifty sustainability warrior doesn't have to be as extreme as Renee's foraging. Other people out there have their own unusual way to save and ultimately leave a lighter carbon footprint. Steve Areen, described by the people closest to him as a creative soul, recently shared his travels from Iceland to the Pacific Islands through a digital portfolio with his friends. This is what ultimately led to an eco-friendly project of the ages. Of course, all that traveling had a monumental impact on his life. His first digital album, A Bird of Passage, chronicled his wanderings around the world and all the friends he made along the way. One of those friends was Hajar Gibran, who lived in an eco-friendly home made of earth on a mango farm situated along the Mekong River in Thailand. Steve was enamored by the life that Hajar and his wife created, tranquil and remote. To Steve's delight, Hajar offered him a piece of his mango farm where he could build his own tranquil home. Humbled by the offer, Steve had a big decision to make. Did he really want to settle down? Steve, a musician, remember, had no idea how to build a home from scratch and didn't exactly have piles of money to pour into the project. Hajar reassured him he'd help him through the process and that his son-in-law, a talented stoneworker, would come up with the building design. Steve liked that. Unsure but excited, Steve agreed to take Hajar up on his offer. In a surreal moment, Steve, standing on his new plot of land and staring at the bare soil, projected his imagination on the empty space. Together, they decided to build a dome home. A structure of this shape has many benefits, one being that it's a natural shape and as such can better survive natural disasters. It also offers the best open concept floor plan for a small living space. But would it be cost effective? First things first, they surveyed the land to measure out the proportions of the house and placed wooden stakes in the ground to begin laying out the foundation. If all went to plan, when finished, Steve would have a new 500 square foot home. Hajar advised Steve to use a material called aircrete, which is a lightweight foam concrete great for regulating temperatures. It's also malleable, making it easier to form the dome shape. On top of that, it's inexpensive, durable, and fireproof. A good material for those looking to save some money. The aerated concrete accelerated the building process, and within several weeks, the outer layer of the dome was complete. Hajar and Steve then built porthole-like windows to allow natural light to enter his home. For the finishing touch, they capped the roof with a beautiful diamond-shaped window, which created rainbow illusions that cascaded down the sides of the walls. They also attached an elevated gazebo, a sala, using bent steel and custom wooden stairs that led to the roof. A costly flourish, but worth it. After only 6 short weeks, the tangerine-colored home, sitting within a grove of mangoes, was finished and move-in ready. Steve walked up to the custom mahogany front door and opened it, leading to a Zen oasis. Want to see inside? An open and airy living space is one of the first things you see. There's comfortable seating nestled in the porthole window with cushioned floor seats and a small table where Steve can enjoy his morning coffee as he gazes out the window at his water lily pond. The space accommodates a small kitchen, adorned with shelving that holds local and cultural pottery he's collected. The wooden dining table and stools were hand-carved, and light fixtures were made from wicker baskets. Oh, and the kitchen's more than just a pretty face. It's functional too. The refrigerator and stove sit beneath the counter to save space, so when Steve wants to cook, his stove burner, which sits on a hinge, swings out to countertop level. Continuing through his fluid home, the next area is probably the most tranquil space, the bathroom. Above the plywood waterfall sink is a mirror made from pottery and bamboo. The walls and floors are delicately decorated with various stones and pebbles. The real highlight of the space is definitely the shower, though. Surrounded by a jungle-like atmosphere, loose river rocks create a shower floor where water mimics the gentle flow of the stream. It actually feels like you're showering in the middle of the jungle. Off in a separate space is Steve's bedroom. His bed rocks traditional tie patterns that match the mango-colored walls. On both sides of his bed are multifunctional porthole windows where he can relax and write music while looking out over the mango orchard. To top it all off, located on the roof above his bedroom is a table-like deck with a hammock that boasts a remarkable view. Just follow the floating wooden stairs up to the private veranda and soak in the endless terrain. But luxuries like these don't come without some damage to the wallet. Still, altogether, Steve built his eco-friendly dream home for just $9,000? It cost him $6,000 to purchase the materials and build his house. It cost another $3,000 to finish the landscaping, gazebo, and interior design. But you can't put a price tag on peace and happiness.